My name is Christine Marshall. I teach for Maine State Ballet, and I also work as a character dancer for the ballet company. If you know anything about the story by Cervantes, it's a long journey that the night goes on. And this ballet is not the entire journey, but rather as if you opened up the book to any one page and started at that chapter. It's often known as Quixote's wedding, because in this story, the Don is tired and hungry with his faithful servant Sancho Panza. They're looking for a town, and this story takes place in that town where they've gone to maybe get some food and drink and rest. When they arrive in the town, things are a little up in arms. The local innkeeper, Lorenzo, is father to the most beautiful girl in town, and she is in love with a penniless but resourceful barber named Basilio. But her father wants her to marry a very wealthy and sort of creepy gentleman named Gamache. She doesn't want to do that. And when the Don arrives in town, the town's in an uproar because there's a fight going on. She doesn't want to go with Gamache, and Basilio wants her to go with him, but he doesn't have any money, and a lot of sort of slapstick acting ensues. There's beautiful dancing in the first act, but it's also a very funny ballet. So the Don arrives. There's a lot going on. There's the arrival of the local toreador Espada, who is very, very flashy, and his paramour, a Mercedes. And there's beautiful dancing, but this story keeps building. You know, Gamache wants his new wife, and Lorenzo wants to sort of give her to him, and Basilio and Quixote are saying, please, no. And they end the first act by sneaking out of the town with the help of Aldonza the barmaid and their friends Espada and Mercedes. And the first act ends in an uproar with Gamache, Lorenzo, her father, Sancho Panza, and the Don following them away. Act 2 is, I think, one of the most gorgeous acts in any ballet that I am familiar with. The music is beautiful, the dancing is glorious, and I think it's thrilling to watch and to listen to. It begins with Basilio and Quixote having finally fled to the forest, having this beautiful pas de deux in the woods. Immediately after which they realize it took place in the middle of a gypsy camp, and the gypsies come in with the Gypsy King, which is just an enviable role for a man to play, and the Gypsy Queen, the same thing. They are just glorious roles, and the dancing is phenomenal, this big gypsy dance. And the gypsies finally decide they're okay, you know, Quixote and Basilio are cool. At which point, their pursuers arrive. Sancho Panza and Lorenzo and Gamache and the Don following behind. They arrive, and essentially the gypsies help Quixote and Basilio to continue on their way while also robbing all of the other gentlemen blind and just making their lives generally miserable. It's hilarious and beautiful and dramatic. And what follows is Don Quixote left alone in the woods, and he has a vision. And it is one of those great romantic moments in a ballet where you see how hard the core works and what beautiful dancing in a classical way really happens in this ballet. You see dryads, and which are goddesses in a way, and you see Cupid with her bow and arrow, and you see Dulcinea, who is the vision of beauty that the Don is following. He keeps seeing this beautiful woman, and she's dancing amongst all of these other ballerinas. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous scene. That's the whole second act. It's just beautiful dancing, beautiful music, and it just like makes your heart beat faster. Act 3 begins with Quixote and Basilio returning to town and celebrating, escaping from their pursuers, but that doesn't last long because the pursuers arrive in town too. And Quixote and Basilio are spirited away by their friends, but pretty soon Quixote is pulled out, and her father Lorenzo is forcing her to marry Gamache. When Basilio returns, and he's enraged because Quixote has broken his heart, and he pulls out his straight razor, and he's apparently going to take his own life out of love. And then we realize that it's a trick. It looks like he stabs himself, but he doesn't. And it enables Quixote to beg her father Lorenzo to let her marry her true love before he dies. And then Basilio jumps up, and we realize that it's all been a trick. And the ballet ends with a wedding. As it is a comedy, it generally ends with a wedding, and it is a beautiful wedding, and it's one of the most important and beautiful pas de deux in classical ballet. A lot of people, when they hear the music, will be very familiar with this really swelling romantic music. And that is the story of Don Quixote, or Quixote's wedding, here at Maine State Ballet. Join us. You will love it.